Arg.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Mixtape Podcast, the podcast dedicated to examining film from a writer's perspective. I'm your host for this time around. My name is Marcelo Nostroza, joined as always by my fellow co-host, Dean Stark. And on today's edition of the show, we'll be talking about La La Land, written and directed by Damien Chazelle. And La La Land was released in 2016.
When Sebastian and Mia follow their passion, they find themselves torn between their love for each other and their careers. The opening scene, it's a traffic jam and everybody's so bored they decide to get out of their car and dance in sequence. So that's kind of fun. Anyway, that's the first 5 minutes. And then we meet Sebastian, who is played by, what's his name? I forgot.
Ryan Gosling.
I was going to say Ryan Reynolds. Fuck, Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling, he's Sebastian. He's stuck in the traffic jam. And then we meet Mia, who's played by Emma Stone, and she's also in the traffic jam. And she's on her phone, so she's quite distracted. Now, the traffic jam starts moving, and she doesn't because she's on her phone. Now, Sebastian pulls up next to her, beeps at her, like, what the fuck are you doing? And Mia just looks at him, gives him this filthy look, and just flips the bird at him. And then he just drives off and she's just like, oh my God. So that was the little snippet opening. But then this movie does a couple of things. We do it from both Mia's perspective and Sebastian's perspective to see what happens on both ends. So I really like that. But before we go into Mia's perspective, what are your thoughts?
I loved the opening scene. The musical number really, really, really gets you amped and it really, really puts you in a good mood. But the thing that I really love about the sequence is that it really portrays what being in traffic in LA is really like. Because if you live in LA, like you can be in a traffic jam for hours and hours and hours and hours. LA has two things that not a lot of places have: screenplay writers and actors, and you could spend hours in the car either writing your screenplay or rehearsing your lines. And I love what Mia was doing in the middle of traffic jam. She was rehearsing her lines, and when Sebastian comes up to her, when Sebastian moves around her because she won't move, and when he flips her off, it's just fantastic. I absolutely love the way that this scene starts out the film.
So now we go to Mia's perspective. So Mia's at work and she works at a cafe on a studio lot, which is kind of like a cool job. I did not know that there were like little cafes like that on studio lots. I've never been on one, so I don't know, but there must be.
There are.
There you go. There are. And an actress walks in, and Damien does a behind the shot which I love. I love it when our favorite shot is behind the actors when they're walking. I don't know why we love it. It's just a really cool shot. Anyway, she walks in, she orders a coffee, and Mia is just taken aback because it's a famous person that's walked in, and you're like, I don't know what to say. And she's almost in awe of her. And then she checks her phone. Mia checks her phone, and an alert says you have an audition. So now we know why she was in awe of this actress is because this is what she aspires to be. She wants to be this famous actress that everybody adores, that everybody looks at. This is what she wants. So I thought this was pretty shit. Mia goes to the audition, and I thought she did pretty well. She's on the phone. She's pretending she's in a phone conversation. And I was like, you know what? I would hire her just based on that. She did a really, really good job. But in the middle of the audition, a woman comes in talking to the people auditioning about a random phone call. And I'm like, oh my God, is that a thing? You do not interrupt an actor when they're doing an audition. You know that they have to get to like a certain place to be able to be in character, and it fucks her up. It fucks her up. And the people that she's auditioning for, they're just assholes. And she goes for like a series of auditions and they're all assholes. I don't know if all casting directors are like that. Obviously I'm not an actor, but I'm just like, oh my God, no wonder actors are like scared of auditioning because you have to sit in front of like, I don't know. I don't even know, like school principals. But I felt really sorry for Mia in that moment.
Yeah, auditioning for actors is really tough because, like Dean said, it's like standing in front of your school principal presenting an assignment naked. It's really, really demoralizing. And when that assistant basically comes behind Mia and goes to one of the casting directors, and the casting director says, "I'll call her back," and the assistant says, "In how long?" And the casting director says, "I'll call her back in 5 minutes." So it's such a wonderful scene. It does a great job in conveying how demoralizing being an actor can be and how demoralizing the process is.
Yeah, no, exactly. So Mia gets home, and her friends, of course, through song and dance, get her to go out with them. And then she goes to a party. And again, of course, through song and dance, we can see that she's very alone and she doesn't want to be there. And this is not her scene. She's just gone out because her friends wanted her to go out, but she never really wanted to go out. And then she leaves the party and she's alone. And it's the shots that he uses are great because it's like there's nobody on the streets but her, and Damien uses very long shots, very wide shots, so you can see how kind of small she actually feels in the world. Do you know what I mean? But then she walks,
Yeah.
as she walks home, she walks past a bar and hears a piano playing, and it intrigues her, this piece of music, and then she walks in. But I like the
Mhm.
shots that he's using.
Yes. Damien does a great job at the visuals in this movie. If you really look at it, this movie almost seems like a dream. It almost seems unreal.
Mm.
Some of the some of the color palettes that he uses and some of the situations that he has Mia and Sebastian in throughout the course of this movie are fantastic. That moment when Mia is walking back from the party and she just hears the tinge of the piano, and as she gets closer to it, it gets louder and louder and louder. And when she walks into to the bar where Sebastian is performing, it's just wonderful. It's like Mia is in a trance. It's like the music is calling to her. So that's a wonderful way to push the story forward by Damien. It's absolutely wonderful.
So now we go back to the traffic jam, and now we see from Sebastian's perspective. So we follow him, and he gets home, and you know what? He lives like a typical boy, and there's shit everywhere. There's boxes. His sister is there, so she's just broken in, and and she immediately gets up his ass about how he's living. She's like, "When did you move in here?" He's like, "A couple months ago," but like he's just not unpacked anything. He does not give a shit, and she's like, "How can you live like this?" So she's just on him and on him and on him, and then she sits on a stool that's very, very precious to him because one of his jazz icons, because he loves jazz, sat on it. And she keeps sitting on it. He's like, "Don't sit on the chair," and she's like, "But it's a chair." Like they have really, really good banter. They don't hate each other, but they're coming from completely different angles. She wants him to get his life together. He is obviously in a slump, and he knows what he wants to do, but he doesn't know how to get out of the slump in order to do it. So she's trying to set him up with someone. He's like, "I don't want to be with anyone. Like, just leave me in my own peace. Leave me in my own rubbish dump and go away and go and live your life." And through the scene, we learn he loves jazz, and he's got boxes filled with records and old jazz photographs, and he plays piano. So I like that scene. I like the banter. I wish the sister came back, but she never came back.
I am so happy you said that. One of the things that I will always hold against this movie is the fact that we get introduced to a member of Sebastian's family and his sister, and she is so magnetic, she is so cool, but we never see her again. But I love how when Sebastian enters his apartment, I love how Ryan Gosling plays it. He enters his apartment, and because he doesn't know his sister is there, he jumps out of his skin. He is so concerned about his place in life, and she is so concerned that he hasn't got shit together. And also, we learn in this scene that Sebastian previously tried to open up a music club, but the partner that he had basically ripped him off and left him alone to die. It was a really great choice by Damien Chazelle to frame the early part of this movie in that way, showing Mia's perspective and then showing Sebastian's perspective, but also showing that they're both chasing something. They're both passionate about doing something creative, and it's going to be so much fun to see these two characters inspire each other throughout the course of this movie. It's going to be so great.
Yeah, I wish they brought the sister back. I really related to her because that's what I do with my brother. I go to his house. I'm like, "Why haven't you done laundry? Why are the dishes there? Why haven't you made an appointment for this? What are you doing?" Like, yeah, I was like, "Damn, that's me." And my brother's like, "Yeah, just let me live my
Yeah.
life." This is the scene where I don't like Sebastian as a character. I like
Uh-huh.
Mia. I don't like Sebastian because of this one thing, and he consistently keeps doing it through the movie. And I'm like, it's not a good trait to have. Anyway, Sebastian goes to work and he plays piano in a restaurant, and his boss tells him, "You need to play the list that I tell you to play. Don't go off and play your own shit. Play what I tell you to play." And Sebastian basically says, "Look, I don't think the patrons care what I play, but okay, you're the boss. I'm gonna do it." so he starts playing Christmas music because it's Christmas, jingle bells and all that stuff, and which he clearly thinks is a joke. But that's the thing. It's a job. It's your job. Like nobody wants to do what their boss tells them to do in a job that they don't want to do, but they do it because that's what you're paid to do. And then he gets sick of playing the Christmas music and then he starts playing his own music, which is really beautiful and it's way better than the Christmas music. Like he's right. The patrons, if I was a patron, I would rather listen to his music than the Christmas music, but that's not what the boss wanted. And this is the music that Mia hears when she's walking down the street. She walks past the club. She hears him playing that. Now, if he was playing Christmas music, she would have walked straight past. But he's playing his own music and she was intrigued. So before she actually walks in, his boss walks up to Sebastian and fires him for playing his own music. Because it was already established that he's done that before and he was on his last leg. Now, Sebastian's reaction is that he doesn't get it. He's like, no, you don't really mean that. I don't understand what you mean. And he's just being an ass. And if you have a job, you do what your boss asks. But he just thinks he's very, very superior through the whole movie. He's got this superiority complex. Like, he's better than this. And he might be better than playing Christmas jingles on the piano, but that's your job. And he consistently does this. And it's like, then don't get a job, dude. Then do what you want. Anyway, Mia ends up walking in. She sees Sebastian at the piano. He's just been fired, so he's in a pissed off mood. She walks up to Sebastian and she says, I just heard your music, and then he just pushes past her because he's just been fired and doesn't really want to talk to anyone.
I'm not really sure if I think Sebastian has a a superior complex. I think that Sebastian, through a large part of the movie, just let his artistic vision overrule his common sense that he has in his brain.
Mm.
And the only time that he actually remembers that he needs to do a job and he needs to put his artistic endeavors aside to make some money for himself, to support himself and to support the woman that he's dating at the time, which we'll get to, is when he joins a band later on. And that's when he truly loses his soul. So in that scene, I do understand where you're coming from, but I don't know. I kind of like that Sebastian went fight the man and he said, you know what? I think this music sucks and I'm going to play what I want and what happens happens. I think that he just got lost in the music. I don't know. You clearly have a different take on the scene, but that's how I see it.
Yeah, because it's, I guess, like I said, you never want to do what your boss says to you. And I guess I get it,
Right.
your
Right.
artistic talent comes over, but he's been warned before. And
Right.
it's not the easiest thing in the world, especially for a piano player, to get a job. So either you want a job or you want to stick it to the man. You can't really have it both ways, I guess.
Right. It's one or the other in this case.
Yeah, exactly. So
Right.
this was a little bit of a coincidence, I thought. You can tell me what you thought about this. So Mia goes to a random pool party. We don't know why she's there. Um, we didn't see, but she doesn't really talk to anybody. And she walks over to this 80s cover band, and Sebastian just happens to be playing keyboard. I thought that was a bit of a coincidence. What do you think?
Hey, George Michael. Sorry. I listen. I absolutely think that Damien Chazelle needed Mia and Sebastian to run into each other once again to actually really start the romance, and that's why he had Mia show up at this random pool party. But I think that Mia was actually there because of one of her roommates. Because if you remember, leading up to the scene, one of her roommates wanted to introduce her to the screenplay writer that she talks to, right? The one that's doing that brand new take on the Three Little Bears, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I think she was there in the first place. But ultimately, I think it was writer's convenience
Mm.
when it came to Damien Chazelle having Mia be there at that specific moment in time.
Yeah, because it happens in life too. There
Yeah,
are
it does.
weird
It
coincidences
does.
like, "Huh, I saw you yesterday." So the song that they're playing stops and she walks up, she recognizes Sebastian. She's like, "Oh, no way." And the lead singer says, "Do you have any requests?" And she walks front and center and says, "I ran," right? by A Flock of Seagulls, which is a fantastic 80s song, by the way. And Sebastian sees Mia and recognizes her, and he's just like, oh no, that's good. Now, she's requested that song to fuck him up because fuck you, you're not going to do that to me, right? And she knows it because Emma Stone is so good in this movie. She doesn't have to say anything. And then the band starts playing, and Mia's basically mocking the song and mocking Sebastian. And he's shaking his head because he has to play it. And the way that she does it is just it's comedy gold. Now, afterwards, Sebastian finds Mia and says, I remember you from the club, and how dare she request I Ran? And I'm like, dude, Sebastian, I Ran's a great song. You may not like it because you're a jazz dude, but I love that song. So, because he says he's a serious musician. But is he? He wants to be, but I don't think he is yet. And she's like,
What?
and she just says like, "Oh, can I borrow your outfit? I'm auditioning for a serious firefighter." Because he's wearing like this 80s like fluorescent outfit. He looks like an idiot. Fits into the 80s, but he looks like an idiot. So there's banter back and forth, and then he leaves. But she also mentions where she works. But I didn't write down the banter, but it was really good dialogue between them. It was kind of like a I like you, but I'm not sure, and you've annoyed me, so my ego's going to get in the way, but I kind of still like you. Like, it was really good.
It was actually a getting to know you scene because in that scene they actually jab back and forth with one another so well. I mean, when Sebastian says nobody requests I Ran from a serious musician, it's so great. And also when Sebastian says, "Oh, you're an actress. Have I seen you in anything?"
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
it's
It's just like slingshots.
when Mia initially requests I Ran from Sebastian, when she realizes that he's at the party, Emma Stone does such a Emma Stone is a ball of light
Mm.
in this movie, and she is so good.
She is good. She's quite good at this movie. After the party, Mia sees Sebastian walking to his car, and they decide. Well, they take a walk together because they like each other, so they have a bit of a chat. There's another song and dance sequence where they talk about.
Dean, Dean,
Yeah.
Dean, relax, relax. Just
Look, I'm trying. I'm
so
trying.
look,
You can
look,
see, right?
look. I promise you, it'll be over soon. I promise.
Okay. All right, there's another song and dance sequence where they talk about well they kind of look, the lyrics in the song. I looked up the lyrics because I just could not sit through it. They skirt around the issue whether they like each other, but neither wants to admit it. So there's that. So go for it.
Yeah, listen. The dance sequence with Sebastian and Mia basically walking up the hill. The dance sequence itself is so wonderful, and I was gonna put this in the trivia section later on, but I will say this now. It took them 2 days to actually shoot this sequence because they did it all in real light. They
Oh
actually
wow.
didn't yeah. Yeah, so they actually took 2 days to film the sequence because they needed the light to be right.
Oh, they
They
could have filmed it on a soundstage, but they didn't. They filmed it outside.
no, they no, yeah, no, they didn't because they needed what we call golden hour.
Yeah.
So for 2 nights in a row, they were lucky enough to get golden hour. So, that just shows the commitment of Damien Chazelle, the commitment of Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone to the sequence and to the movie overall.
Yeah, he wanted it to be real. I like that. So because Mia previously mentioned where she works, Sebastian shows up. And the first thing she asked, which is the first thing I would have asked, is how the fuck did you get on the lot? Because you can't just stroll on. And I like the fact that Damien, the director and the writer, put this in because it's not real, but it kind of goes, yeah, okay, that makes sense. He's like, well, I just ran past the security guard. And I was like, you know what? Sounds like something Sebastian would do. The security guards aren't really that fit on lots. So, yeah, all right. He ran past the
No.
security
They're
guard.
fat. They're fat. He could totally run by a
Yeah.
security guard.
So I believe it. So anyway, they take a walk through the back lot and we
Totally
learn
run by a security guard.
Mia's aunt was an actress. So that's why she wants to be one. And she loves it, but she's not really getting anywhere. And Sebastian basically tries to snap her out of it and tells her to keep going and keep pushing. And then she tells him, I should probably tell you I don't like jazz. And Sebastian just stops dead in his tracks, shocked, beyond belief. I don't know why you would be because a lot of people, like most people, don't like jazz, but he's shocked. And I love this is my favorite line of dialogue in the entire movie. He says, "What do you mean?" And Mia says, "It means when I listen to it, I don't like it."
But,
Yeah.
but why?
Oh, just oh my god, I just love it. Yeah, but sometimes you don't know why you don't like something. It's like you try like bubblegum flavor like ice cream. Why don't you like it? I don't know, I just don't like the flavor. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you don't know. Sebastian takes her to a jazz club, trying to convince Mia that jazz is awesome and epic, and tells her he wants to open his own jazz club. So we learn a little bit more about him. And he likes old school jazz. He doesn't like this new shit. He likes old school, like when it was invented jazz. Mia ends up getting a call back for an audition, and she says it's for a TV show like Rebel Without a Cause. And Sebastian quotes the movie, and Mia kind of looks at him like a deer in the headlights, and he's like, "Oh my god, you've never seen the movie?" And she's like, "No," and he said, "It's playing at the theater down the street. We should go see it." I like that scene because everything flows into it. She says she doesn't like jazz, and he's like, "Fuck, let's go to a jazz club." They go to a jazz club, and then we find out he wants to own a jazz club, and then she gets a call back for an audition, and then the Rebel Without a Cause thing, and then she hasn't seen it. And he's like, "Let's see it." Everything flows. So I think that scene was, well, that compilation of little scenes was written really well.
A lot of people ask me, why the hell is La La Land your favorite musical of all time? And a lot of people default to, oh, it's my favorite musical of all time because it has one of my favorite actresses of all time, and it's written and directed by one of my favorite writers in Damien Chazelle. And they, that's not the answer. The reason why I love this film so much is because it shows two passionate people trying to achieve their dreams, and through their friendship they propel each other to achieve their goals in life, and I absolutely love that. And my favorite scene in this entire movie um is Sebastian in the jazz club explaining to Mia why jazz is so violent and why jazz matters to him so much. I absolutely love the way that Damien shoots this and the passion that Ryan Gosling gives to the line. As a matter of fact, when people ask me why I'm so passionate about writing, I often point them to this scene, and after they watch the scene, if they listen to me and if they care about me, they're like, "Oh, I get it. I understand why uh, why you're so passionate about writing and and why you want it so much and why you want to do it so much." But like Dean said, those two scenes do such a great job at really, really letting the audience know what Sebastian is passionate about, what he wants, and why he hasn't got it yet. And it also does a great job of giving us backstory to Mia and why she feels so passionate about being an actress and where her inspiration to become an actress came from. It's such economical storytelling in such a unique little package.
Mia goes to the audition, and the people conducting it are just dickheads. Every audition she goes to, they are dickheads. So she ends up going home, and her boyfriend comes in saying, "Okay, ready for dinner." Now, Mia's supposed to beat Sebastian that night, and she's like, "Oh, shit." So she goes to dinner with her boyfriend and her boyfriend's friends, and she doesn't want to be there. These aren't her people. She's at a fancy restaurant. She's all dolled up. This is not her. Nobody's speaking to her. She doesn't understand the conversation. They're all superficial, talking about transfers and money and stuff like that. She's just like not into it at all. And then this was a coincidence that I thought, okay. The piano music that she heard Sebastian playing in the club comes over the speaker. That piece of music, I'm pretty sure he made up. I don't know why it would be coming over the speaker at the restaurant she's at. Do you
It's
have any
not
more information?
it's not coming over a speaker, it's in her head.
But they had a close up of
We
the speaker.
Yeah, I know, but I think that's a misdirect. You probably think that I'm crazy, but I think that's a misdirect.
I think you're crazy.
You know what? You know what? You know what? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You said they had a close up of the speaker, right?
Yeah, because she looked
Okay,
up at
I
the
take that back.
speaker and they had a close up of the
Yeah.
speaker.
Okay, I take that back. I am crazy. That is a writer's convenience.
Yes,
That's a
that
writer's
is.
convenience.
Because I was like, "There's
That
no
is
way."
that is absolutely a writer's convenience. And I love what you said there, that the second Mia sits down with her boyfriend, who is a fucking douchebag, because he
Mm,
doesn't give a shit about her.
mm,
She is like dragged along to this dinner where they're all talking about business, and her boyfriend is talking about this guy that this deal that he's trying to do in Tokyo, and like it's just a really really uncomfortable scene. And as I'm watching the scene, every time I sit down to watch this movie, I keep thinking that Mia's not going to stand up to go to the Rialto to see
mm.
Rebel Without a Cause for Sebastian. So when she finally does stand up and she says, "I'm sorry," and she just runs to the Rialto to see Rebel Without a Cause for Sebastian, that's her breaking free, and that's her allowing herself to be with her people.
Yeah.
And the other reason why I love this scene so much is because um uh 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 a few times last year I was having a really hard time with my artistic endeavors, and a couple friends of mine said, "Listen, the reason why you're having a hard time with your artistic endeavors is because you're not with your people." So every time I see the scene, it reminds me, it's a constant reminder that I always have to surround myself with artistic people and with people that have similar passions to me. Because if I don't, I'm going to wither away and die. I'm always going to be that guy like Mia, sitting and rotting away around people that I don't like, and around people that don't inspire me.
That's dramatic, but it's true. It's dramatic, but it's true for everybody.
It's true, right?
It's so
It's
true.
true, right?
It's true. So yeah, she
Yeah.
runs to the Rialto where Sebastian is waiting for her, and then they go to the Griffith Observatory, which was in Rebel Without a Cause. And Damien uses the exact same shot that they were watching in the movie, because in the movie,
Yep.
James Dean goes to the Griffith Observatory, so that was a cool little nod to the movie. And they have a really cutesy date of singing and dancing. And if you want to talk about that, you can. You totally can.
It's a really cool scene, and it's a really, really interesting musical way to push the story forward, and to see these people truly fall in love is magical, and it's wondrous. And again, Dean, we'll get through it, I promise. Just breathe.
I like some musicals. Just I'm very
You
you know how some people are very specific in, like, horror movies? It's like, I don't like all horror movies, but I
folks
like 3. That's like me with
folks
musicals.
folks, she does like musicals. And if you're listening to us right now and you say bullshit, I give you this.
Doesn't sound like she likes musicals.
That's I give you this. Exhibit A, we've talked about 2 musicals before this one on the podcast. What are they?
They are Wizard of Oz and Mary Poppins, which I picked. I picked
There you
them,
go. She picked them.
and I really liked Wicked. So,
Yes.
I I just don't like all
So
musicals, that's all.
so there it is, folks. She does like specific musicals, but she's not a musical person at the end of the day when you really think about it.
I'm trying, like, God, really trying hard. I'm trying hard with this.
She's
I'm doing my best.
she's yes, she's doing her best, folks, and that's all we can ask of her.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Yes.
Now, Mia
You're welcome.
starts. Now, this is a compilation of a few scenes, because there's like a few little cut scenes that I just put together. Mia starts writing a play, a one-woman play show. She's got this idea in her head. She wants to do a one-woman play. She's an actor. She's not getting anywhere auditioning, so fuck it. She wants to do it. So she starts writing it, and then Sebastian picks her up, and there's like a montage of dates, of cutesy little dates that they go on. I like it because it suggests passing of time, and then an old friend shows up, an old friend of Sebastian shows up asking if he wants to be in his new band, and Sebastian immediately declines. Sebastian has not inferior, has a superiority complex where I'm too good for you and your band. This is what I mean.
In Sebastian's defense, Keith is playing the type of music that drives Sebastian fucking crazy.
Yeah. Did he know the type of music? Because that wasn't suggested until he actually later on joined the band and goes, "Oh,
I'm Yeah, listen. I'm not exactly sure. What I do think is sort of hinted at, but not necessarily said in the movie, is Sebastian and Keith have a past, and I don't think that their past was pleasant. So I think Sebastian going into this business relationship with Keith was ill-advised and out of necessity because, like Dean just said, Sebastian has a superiority complex, and throughout the whole course of the movie we've seen him get fired, we've seen him be flippant with employers. So I'm thinking, how is this guy surviving? How is this guy paying for his rent? Because, like, can somebody who plays pianos in bars make enough money in tips to support their to live, in a rat infested apartment somewhere?
I understand where he's coming from. He has a dream, and that's the only thing he wants to do."
In life, sometimes you got to do shit that you hate to do shit that you love later on.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So Sebastian hears Mia on the phone to her mother telling her that Sebastian is great and he's going to open his own jazz club. Oh, but he doesn't have the money yet, but he's going to get the money, and Sebastian overhears this, and then that's what makes him make a move, because he doesn't want to let her down. So she's kind of his motivating factor to
Yeah.
fuck. I need to do this because I need to show Mia that, I'm not just a hot air balloon. Do you know what I mean? I need to show her that I'm actually going to do this. So we cut to Sebastian joining the club of the friend that offered him the gig in the first place. Sebastian goes to the first rehearsal and he's not sure because it's new jazz. Keith says they're not old jazz, it's new jazz, but he likes old school jazz. And his friend tells him he needs to stop living in the past and find out what people actually want to listen to. But Sebastian is so stuck in his ways, he doesn't really want to change. Now, that could be a good thing and a bad thing. His friend is saying nobody's going to like old jazz, you got to get with the times. But if Sebastian really, really wants to do old school jazz, then there would be a market for it. There would be. It's like someone saying, "Don't make found footage movies." Nobody likes found footage movies. They're garbage. They're not real. They're not artistic. No, no, no. And then like Blair Witch comes out, and it's like, oh, do you know what I mean? So sometimes, if you have a dream, you can't let people discourage you because it's not what they want. You've got to do kind of what you want. So, and that's what Sebastian does. He sticks with his guns and he does what he wants.
The moment when Sebastian realizes that he's going to have to bite the bullet and join Keith's band to support Mia, I really, really, really felt a connection with Sebastian. And at that point in the movie, every time I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is the right thing for Sebastian to do now. I just hope that it doesn't blow up in his face.
Yeah. So this next series of cutscenes is my favorite part of the entire movie because it says so much without actually telling the audience. It shows the audience. So there's a cute scene of them at the piano and they're sitting next to each other and it's very intimate and they're singing together. And I think they're singing City of Stars,
City of Stars,
which
yep.
is the only song in the movie I like because it's short,
Oh,
it doesn't go on, and there's
yes.
no dancing.
Actually, City of Stars, if you actually read the dialogue, and when Sebastian does his own interpretation of it on the pier later on,
Mm.
it's quite sad.
It is really sad.
Me and Sebastian are at the piano. It's a really romantic moment.
And then we have a series of cutscenes where Sebastian is with his new band and Mia quits her job because she wants to focus on her one woman show. She's going for it. She's going for a passion. He's working towards his dream. They're both going for it. What I love about these cutscenes is they may not mean anything to normal people, but the piano scene was kind of the bon voyage of their old life. and then they both step into their passions on different paths. It's like they came together because they were both in the same boat and they helped each other achieve their goals, but it kind of in a way forces them apart. And
Yeah.
I just thought that that was a beautiful. I don't know if everybody would get that watching it, but the song at the piano, it was the last time they're really connected. Now they're on separate paths.
When they're both sitting at the piano singing the City of Stars melody, it's the last time that they're together. And I absolutely love this moment because, like Dean said, they're both chasing their dreams, but Sebastian is slowly losing his soul, while on the other hand, Mia is has quit her job and is chasing her dream with this one-woman play. It's such a unique way to show story progression on Damien Chazelle's part, but it's just really fucking sad when
Mm,
when 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 you really think about it. Because look, like I said, one of the main reasons why I love this movie is because I love how Mia and Sebastian inspire each other to to chase their dreams, to do the impossible. But it's so sad to me that to do to achieve their dreams, they ultimately have to lose each other,
yep.
and they ultimately have to say goodbye. And that is the most depressing, sad thing about this movie.
Sometimes people just come into your life for specific reasons and then they go away. Sometimes, like with me and
Yeah.
Sebastian, they came into each other's life to support each other, to get them to that point where they
Yes.
went, fuck it, I'm going to go for it. And that's it. That's when the contract
Yeah.
ended and they went separately. So Mia goes to see Sebastian play in a show with his new band. At first, she's happy. And then when it starts getting into it, the lead singer, John Legend, starts singing, the band gets into it. Her face just Emma Stone does such a good job in this scene. Her face just drops and it's just a focus on her. And at first you're like, "Oh, she doesn't like it," because at first she was smiling, but now she's not. But we know she's not smart. The reason she's gone from happy to sad is because she knows this is not what he wants to do. She knows he's only doing this to get money, and she knows that this is not making him happy. And so, therefore, it doesn't make her happy. So they end up having dinner. And this is a really great dialogue driven scene between two people. It's fantastic. So she asks him, "Do you like the music you play?" And he says, "Why does it matter?" So instantly, he's defensive. And Mia says, "Well, it matters because if you're going to give up your dream, I think it matters." Which she's right. And so Sebastian gets really pissed off, and then says, "This is what you wanted for me to have a job." So he's throwing it back on her because he knows she's right. Because that's what people do, folks. When they throw shit back at you, they're annoyed because they're pissed off at themselves, not actually at the person that's doing it. And he basically says he grew up and he left that dream behind. But Mia is not having it. She knows this is just a front, this is not him, and knows that he's just scared to go after his dream and he's not sure how to do it. He's got a steady job now, he's got money coming in. Why would he want to wreck that? And then he says the ultimate thing to her. And when I watched this for the first time, I was like, you better walk the fuck out. You better not entertain him. He says to her, "Maybe you just liked me when I was on my ass because it made you feel better about yourself." And when he says that to her, Emma Stone's face is she just goes, I can't even, she doesn't say anything. She goes completely quiet. She just stares down at him. And he's just looking at her and then he gets really like awkward and then she just gets up, doesn't say anything, and fucking leaves. And I would have done the same fucking shit because fuck that. But it was a really great, intense, dramatic scene.
This scene is actually one of my favorite in the film because it really shows how miserable Sebastian is and how Sebastian, in one way or another, has given up on his dream and is sort of blaming Emma Stone for his position in life. And Sebastian sort of brainwashed himself into thinking that he put himself in this position to support himself and Emma Stone, but just because he did that doesn't give him just because he did that, he doesn't have to lose the passion for what he's chasing. I'm sure that he could have found another way to chase his dream and support himself and Emma Stone. But here's the thing. In the time that Sebastian is a part of Keith's band, he chooses himself. He chooses the money over Mia and the relationship with her, and that drives me insane. He could have said no to Keith, and he could have been there for Mia when she needed him, but his greed and his need to have the money over sort of overrode his love for her. And I think that all of these emotions are displayed in this scene wonderfully by Ryan Gosling, in the way that Emma Stone um, plays it when Sebastian throws it back in her face and says, uh, "I thought this is what you wanted." And when her face drops, and when she just stands up and walks out, it's a great moment. But also, it's a wonderful moment when Sebastian stands up and he takes out what he was cooking in the oven.
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
it's just a really great scene, and I think it's the beginning of the end for Sebastian and Mia from a romantic standpoint.
So Mia's one woman show, she's been rehearsing it, and the show is on tonight. But Sebastian's band tells him he's got a photo shoot tonight and he has to attend. And he ends up going to the photo shoot. While he's there, he doesn't want to be there, and it's just a crock of shit. And it's ridiculous. He really is lowering himself, really. And then we see
Mhm.
Mia, and she's finished her show. We don't actually see her show, which is fine. We don't need to see it. She's finished her show, and almost nobody shows up. Like, there's like 5 people in the audience. And then afterwards, she hears some people mocking her performance. Oh, I can't believe she thinks she's any good. I can't believe she did this. Like, no wonder nobody showed up. And it makes her sad. And, people can have their opinions, but when you're really vulnerable and when you've put everything into something and you hear someone saying that it wasn't good, that's fucked. So anyway, she ends up leaving the theater and Sebastian races to her. He leaves the photo shoot. He races to her, apologizing. And she's so angry and hurt. And she tells him her dream is over and she's not good enough and she's going basically home, where she's back to her parents. She just doesn't want anything to do with him. She's so fucking hurt by him, by nobody showing up, by the people mocking her. Like, there's only so many times you can be hit by a bat before it's just you just don't get up again. And this is her don't get up again moment.
I was so enraged with Sebastian in this moment. Him not deciding to go to me as one woman play, and him deciding to stay in a fucking photo shoot for a fucking band that he doesn't even want to be in, for a fucking guy that he doesn't even want to work with, drove me fucking insane. But that moment outside of the theater when Mia says, "Nobody showed up. I don't have any money to pay the feeder back, and I think I'm going home." When she says, "I think I'm going home," Sebastian thinks that it's home in their apartment together. And she goes, "No, I'm going back home because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the rejection. I'm tired of all, and I'm just going home." And she just drives off. And that moment really breaks my fucking heart, because in that moment, she fucking quit. It's just so heartbreaking when somebody who feels so passionate about achieving their dream of being an actress, in this case, just quits.
No, it is. It is. So Sebastian he's at home and he gets a call asking for Mia. Now he says she's not there. And the person says that they're a casting agent and need to speak with her. And he immediately jumps up. He's like, casting agent? So Mia's at her parents' house when Sebastian shows up and tells her that the casting agent he got a call from was actually at her one woman play and she loved it and now wants Mia to audition for a big time movie. And Mia doesn't really know what to say. And but then she says no. She said, "I've been to a million auditions and the same shit happens every time. They laugh at me. They get interrupted. I get interrupted. Like, I'm not going to go through that again because maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm one of those people that has always wanted to do it, but it's just going to be a pipe dream." And Sebastian he's very quiet and he looks at her and he just says,
What?
"Stop being a baby." And she's like, "What?" And he goes, the audition is at 5:30 p.m. tomorrow. I'll pick you up at the front at 8 a.m. And then he gets in the car and drives off. He doesn't even entertain her victim mentality. He's just like, stop this. I'm going to pick you up. You're going to be there. We're going to go. That's it. And I love that. I don't love him as a character, but I love that.
Look, this moment with Mia and Sebastian in front of Mia's parents' house is quite lovely because Mia is so defeated in the moment. But like Dean said, the second that Mia says, I don't want to do this anymore because I don't think I could take any, I don't think I could take any more disappointment because if I go there and if they say no, that will literally break me.
Mm.
And I don't think I could do that. And there's a moment when Sebastian goes, "What?" And
She's like, what?
you know, and then and that's when it goes into a speech, and that's when he says, "You're being a baby. You're being you are being difficult."
Yeah.
And he says, like Dean just said, "I'm going to be out here in the morning, and either you're here or you're not." Watching this scene for this conversation, that's the moment when I was watching this movie and I actually broke.
Mm.
I actually cried while watching the scene. And I'm so happy that although Sebastian and Mia's romantic relationship is kaput, I'm so happy that they use each other to achieve their dreams. And because of each other, they get what they want.
So the next morning, Sebastian picks Mia up and they go to the audition. And she goes in and they say, well, if you get it, it shoots in Paris for 3-4 months or whatever. And she's like, oh,
6 months.
6 months. But there's no script yet. They want to construct the story around the actress, which I don't know if it might be a thing. I don't know.
No, no, no. Folks, that's the thing. That's the thing. It happens.
So that's the thing. So they say,
It is.
tell us a story as the audition. Just make up a story. And so Mia thinks, and then she tells them a story of her aunt that lived in Paris, but of course she sings it. So, I don't know. She says something about her aunt was in Paris. I don't know what it is. So I fast forwarded through it. I'm sorry. You could tell them what the story was.
The song at that moment that Mia sings in the audition is a lovely song because it basically is about dreamers and it's about people who dare to do the impossible.
Right.
And I think if it wasn't for that song, Mia wouldn't have landed the audition and Mia wouldn't have become the actress that she becomes. Look, Sebastian helped her get in the room, but once she got in the room, it was all her.
Yes. And it's funny because her one woman show, it's like you can do things where you think nobody gives a shit and nobody notices. And there's that one person that goes, I noticed. So after the audition, Sebastian and Mia, they have a talk about where they are in their relationship. And they both kind of know that if Mia gets it, then they can't be together because he's not going to go to Paris. He's got his own dreams. But they acknowledge that they love each other and they have their own dreams that are miles apart. And it's like sometimes you have to leave people behind in order to pursue your purpose. They get their dreams, but they lose each other. So that's the sad part. And that comes back in a few scenes, and that's really fucking sad to me. This is a sad fucking movie. It is. It's fucking sad.
Oh my God. You just took the winds out. You just took the wind out of my sails with that.
Right? Me too.
It's just so sad. But it's so true, by the way.
Yeah.
Because Sebastian is right. There's no way that Sebastian could go to Paris, and because if Sebastian goes to Paris, he would have probably lost his opportunity to open up his club. And if Mia doesn't take the opportunity, God knows when another opportunity for her would open up like this again. And it's just really sad that for them to accomplish what they need to accomplish, they had to give up the one thing that brought them together in the first place. Their love for each other. Because listen, their passions were a piece of what brought them together. But I think the one thing that brought them together in the beginning was their love for each other.
So now we go to 5 years later. We see Mia on the Warner Brothers lot where she used to work. And she walks into her old job at the cafe all dolled up, basically looking exactly like how the actress walked in the very first scene. And the people working at the cafe, they're like, oh my God. Like they're looking at her like, okay, she's famous. So she orders a coffee. Everybody's looking at her. It's basically the exact same replica of the scene, from the beginning. And now, so we know that she's made it. She's somebody now. And then we switch to Sebastian, and he has his own club now. He's opened it. Mia is now married with a daughter. Mia and her husband go out one night, and then to a jazz club. They start walking, and he's like, "Do you want to go in here?" And she's like, "Yeah, okay." They go in, and they turn a corner just before they enter the club, and the club is called Seb's. Now, Mia almost has a heart attack because she knows this is Sebastian's club because the design of the Seb's logo, she designed it for him years ago. And she's like, oh shit. She enters and sits, and Sebastian sees her, and it's just like, oh my God, like you get chills. He sees her, they lock eyes,
Oh,
and they just both freeze, and they don't say anything, but you can see just in a look. And then he sits at the piano and he thinks for a moment, and the place is packed. And then he starts playing the song that Mia first heard him play when he was at the restaurant all those years ago. And she looks like she wants to cry because nobody else knows what that song means but her and him. And it's beautiful. This fucking movie is so sad, but it's beautiful the way that he does that. Anyway, that's that scene. We're nearing the end, but that's that scene.
as Dean was talking there, I got goosebumps up and down my spine. And actually, hearing you relate a scene almost makes me want to cry. Um, it- the ending of this movie is absolutely heartbreaking because Mia basically becomes the big time actress that she wanted to become. And I love the moment when she steps onto the lot, and again, Damien Chazelle follows her from behind with the camera, our favorite shot. It's just so wonderful to see Mia accomplish her dreams. It's so wonderful to see that she's got her life together now. But the moment that just broke me is when Mia and her husband go into this jazz club and they realize it's Seb's, and the look on Emma and the look on Mia's face when she sits down and watches Sebastian play her melody. It's so fucking heartbreaking. But then, guys, this movie totally takes a 180, and this movie fucking lands the ship because what Damien Chazelle does next is crazy, but it fucking works for me at least.
Yeah, so this is another downer scene. It's another fucking downer scene. It's cute though. So we go into Mia's mind, and she starts thinking about what her life would have been like if they had stayed together. So she goes to Paris, but he goes with her this time, and he plays in Paris clubs and he's loving it and it's great. While she films the movie, they explore Paris together. And then when they get back to the States, they move in together, they have a kid, they're so in love, they're passionate about each other. And then they go to a club, which is Seb's club. But in this reality, it's not because he didn't open his club. It's just another jazz club. So if she had gotten what she wanted, he wouldn't have gotten his dream. But the question is love or career, like, what's kind of more important? If you get your dream, but you have no one to share it with, is it worth it? Was it worth it for Mia to become an actress, knowing she had to let Sebastian go? I mean, sometimes you have to let people go, but is it worth it, depending on the person, I guess? They obviously still love each other. And Mia turns back to Sebastian as she leaves with her husband, and they smile at one another. That's pretty much the end. And that's pretty fucking sad because they could have had both. If he went with her to Paris and he was only going to be gone for 6 months, he could have gotten back. She would have had the money to help him open Seb's. He could have opened Seb's. They could have had it both. So I don't understand why it's like. And her husband in this movie, they don't seem as connected. There's no passion. There's no love. There's nothing. It seems very stock
It's
standard. Very,
robotic.
yeah. It's very boring.
It's robotic and very boring.
So he
So I
could
have a
have had
question.
his dream.
Yeah, I have a question for you, Dean.
Mm.
Career or love? What do you got?
You can have both. That's the thing.
Okay, but
These people thought that they had to pick, and they don't have to pick.
I agree with you. You can have both, but for you to have both, you have to have the right partner to do that.
Yes.
I believe.
Yeah.
I
You
believe.
do. You do.
Yeah. Listen, this final sequence that Jamie Giselle does brilliantly of going into Mia's mind, showing her what her life would have been if she would have stayed with Sebastian is wonderful. But I love the moment when when she comes out of the alternate sort of the alternate ending of this movie, and Sebastian plays the final key on the keyboard, and Damien does a close up of uh of Mia's face as she walks out, and she just looks back, and Sebastian sort of just gives her this wink, and she has like this happy expression on her face. It's so sad, but it's such a lovely. It's a bittersweet way to end this fantastic movie.
Yeah, because they clearly still love each other. So that
Yeah,
may present a problem.
yeah. It may present a problem in the
I
future.
mean, yeah, but it was
Yeah.
just I felt like they could have been together.
Trivia.
Yeah, go.
So, first piece of trivia: all of the piano playing that Ryan Gosling does in this movie is actually Ryan Gosling. It's actually 100% Ryan Gosling. He
You know
actually does
how I knew that
all the
was true?
how?
Because of the shots. Not because I knew,
Yeah,
because of the shots that Damien used.
yeah,
You could see Ryan playing the piano. Usually they do
yeah,
close-up shots when an actor doesn't know how to play, but you could see him playing.
yeah. With hand inserts for the close up shots.
Yeah, exactly, but that wasn't necessary.
Yeah. Um, Initially, Damien Chazelle wrote the first draft for La La Land in 2010 when he was in college at Harvard.
Mm.
And initially, he set the original version of La La Land in Boston. After he made Whiplash, he actually moved it from Boston to LA to sort of reflect his real life move to LA.
Better, better in
Yeah.
LA.
The original actors that were supposed to play Mia and Sebastian were Emma Watson and Miles Teller. Emma Watson couldn't do it because of scheduling conflicts with Beauty and the Beast. And Miles Teller was set to play Sebastian, but in the last round of negotiations with the studio, he got a call from his agent one day and said, "The studio and Damien Chazelle think that it's a better idea to go away from you because they think Ryan Gosling is a better fit."
Oh.
And yeah, and Miles Teller's agent at the time said that's a bunch of bullshit.
Oh, what's the real story? Give us the goss. What is it?
See, I don't have the goss.
Oh, how dare you?
Uh, unfortunately, I couldn't.
I wanna know what
I couldn't.
happened.
Unfortunately, I couldn't dig it up. So yeah, and and it's really sad because Miles Teller was Damien Chazelle's guy. He
Mm.
did Whiplash for Damien Chazelle,
Yeah.
so like
Yeah, he would
it's
have been good.
ridiculous.
Emma Watson would have been good.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Really, I'm not too sure about that. But listen, I'm a massive fan of Emma Stone, so I'm biased. So don't listen
Well,
to me,
I
guys.
loved Emma in, Beauty and the Beast, so
Yeah,
maybe I'm
yeah.
biased.
She was rather wonderful. Another piece of trivia for you:
Yep.
when John Legend agreed to do this movie, he initially thought that he was going to be playing piano, but the fact that he actually had to play guitar and he actually did do vocals on the scene, he actually had to play guitar and do vocals for his character in this movie made him very uncomfortable.
Yeah, usually people that can play one instrument and don't know how to play another instrument, it makes them super uncomfortable, so I'm not even surprised. So, yeah. I didn't know
Yes.
John Legend couldn't play, I just assumed he could play everything. I don't know why. I just
Yeah.
did.
Well, yeah, no. Well, you assume that when it comes to talented people, right?
I do, I do.
Yeah. And the last piece of trivia, the opening freeway dance number, A Lovely Day of Sun, that miserable dancing sequence.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah, it was fucking miserable. See, I didn't like it either. Bullshit. I loved it.
I know you did. I know you did.
That to do that scene, they actually had to shut down an entire stretch of highway. And they did that scene in 90-degree heat.
Oh my god, can you imagine being a commuter and it's like, "Wait a minute, why is the highway shut down?" It's like, "Oh, we're filming a movie." "Oh my god! oh my god, like an action movie. Yeah, like a car chase. Yeah, man, like Matrix. And it's like, it's a musical. Okay.
Fuck.
Fuck me. Fuck a musical.
No, but, no, but,
I would have been like, oh fuck, this is bullshit.
but, but but guys, you do not understand. LA is notorious for having shit traffic to begin with.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
imagine this. And no, and they actually did it. They actually did it on the 405.
Oh shit. Oh god. People would have been pissed.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. All right, guys. So that'll wrap it up for our trivia this week. Dean, if you don't have anything to say, I will bring us home.
Oh my god, I love that you did trivia. Oh my god.
It was hard.
Oh
Trust
my
me.
god, I love that you did trivia. Okay, no, I have nothing else. I'm out.
All right, guys. So with that, thank you so much for listening to another edition of the Mixtape Podcast. But guys, if you want to send us comments or questions, we do have an email. It's themixtapepod at AOL.com. But if you guys want to come back next week for another episode, we'll be talking about an 80s classic, Gremlins. So until next time, as I say often, if someone is kind enough to make you a mixtape, that must truly mean that they love you.
The Mixtape Podcast is a Balloonhead Productions presentation.